Well, it's good to be back with you today as we continue on and conclude our study here in the Game On Bible Study Series. 30 days of study over 6 weeks, 5 studies a day, including Sundays. It's been quite a journey, but so glad that you have been here with us on this journey. My name's Kevin. I have the privilege of leading here at Christ Table as lead clergy. So glad that you're here with us today. If you'd like to know more about Christ Table, who we are, what we do among those who are disappointed, discouraged, disconnected, or done with the church, you can find that information right there at www.christstable.today. If you'd like more information about this study in particular, then right there in front of me, go.christstable.today/gameon. That's where you can find more information about this study. There's some downloadable materials there, a study guide that if you want to go back to the beginning or catch back up or fill in the missing places that you missed out on this study, those materials are there absolutely for free. If you would like printed copies of those materials, you can get those there as well. Option is up to you, free or the printed copies. Either way, we don't mind. We appreciate the financial support because it helps us continue to do these studies with you and the other work that we do as a part of Christ Table. But also we understand that if you're disconnected, discouraged, disillusioned, or done with the church, there's probably some trauma there. And it may take some time. You don't necessarily trust us or any religious organization, and that's okay. So we're going to give you these materials for free because we are more interested in your journey and you navigating that than we are anything else. So today we find ourselves on this 30th and final day in Luke chapter 4, verses 18 and 19. This week we have been looking at the sixth and final piece in the game of chess. That sixth and final piece in the game of chess is the king. The king is one of the least powerful pieces on the chessboard. In fact, many might consider it to be the least powerful piece on the chessboard, but it is the most important because it cannot be captured. If the king falls, then the entire game falls and you have lost. And so this week we have been looking into the king and how the king differs from the other chess pieces and what we might be able to learn about our own life and our own journey and spirituality in that as well. And there have been some pretty crazy, amazing parallels in there. One of the things that we have not fully talked about, though, and maybe we should talk about it, is the end game, especially when it concerns the king. In successful end games, the king often becomes more active. You know, we've talked a lot this week about how the king should stay very reserved in gameplay, especially at the beginning of the game, because being a little too aggressive with the king early on is a recipe for disaster and getting checkmated. But as the end draws closer and closer in the game, the king will many times become far more active and begin to boldly support other pieces in trying to take advantage of a win against the opponent, check and checkmate the opponent in order to secure victory for the entire team. And so the king changes. The personality changes. Transformation happens. Change happens, not just in our lives, but in the game of chess, to the king especially. The king's final moves, though, aren't about preserving themselves. The king's final moves are about positioning the entire team for success, creating space for others to shine. In the beginning, the king is about self-preservation and relies on other pieces in order to help preserve the king's life in the game. But at the end, the king's final moves aren't about preserving the king's self, but about making sure that it is there supporting the entire team and creating space for others to shine. The best leaders, the best kings, the best pastors, the best supervisors, the best parents create opportunities and moments for others to shine and it not be them. This is why so many of us, right, have difficulty with the church or with Christianity, is because in many ways the church and Christianity, at least here in U.S. America, a large portion of it has become self-focused, has become self-centered, has become about preserving self, which isn't what Jesus taught and isn't healthy. Whenever things that are going on that are unhealthy in a church, sexual abuse, Christian nationalism, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. It's not something that should be self-preserving or self-sustaining. It's something that needs to be excised. And so many of us have trauma because those who were in leadership, the pieces in the church that we went to or the denomination that we were a part of, thought of themselves rather than thinking about the people. They put themselves first. So in the game of chess, a king's ultimate goal is to create conditions where everyone can thrive. We talked about this a little bit yesterday. If you saw it, if you didn't, go back and watch yesterday, how the king's goal is to serve other pieces, to work in tandem. We talked about even a little earlier this week than yesterday, to work in tandem with other pieces, to be a good team player, to create conditions where everybody can be a hero and everybody can be a star. I had a 4th grade basketball coach who wanted everybody to be a hero, everybody to be a star, or at least have the opportunity to do that by being on the court a significant amount of time, at least a quarter of gameplay for everybody. That was difficult, but it allowed many players to thrive on the team who would not have otherwise been able to thrive because the person in charge created conditions where that was going to be able to happen, even though it might have been a little bit messy in the getting there. So one of the things that amazes me about the Christian journey and about Jesus in particular is that Jesus runs a different track than most Christians or many Christians do today. They don't even realize it. All you have to do, though, is read him. Jesus' mission was about teaching correct theology. If you read Jesus' mission was about liberating people from things that held them back from being who God created them to be. Eliminating poverty, eliminating illness, eliminating social exclusion, eliminating spiritual oppression. And you say, no, Jesus, that wasn't his mission. I mean, yeah, he talked about those things and did those things, but that was not his primary mission. That was not why he came. The reason why he came was the kingdom of God. The reason why he came was to promote heaven, to promote all of us being a part of the kingdom of God, to promote salvation. Are you sure about that? Or are you just kind of inserting that understanding into the text? Are you sure that Jesus didn't come for these things, liberating people from everything that held them back, from poverty, from illness, from social exclusion and spiritual oppression? Are you certain? Yeah, well, I'm asking because, well, there is a certainty here. Jesus' message whenever he arrives on the scene is this: the Spirit of the Lord is on me. What is it that the Spirit of the Lord is on me to do or to accomplish? To proclaim freedom for the prisoners and recovery of sight for the blind. He's not just speaking metaphorically, or he's not speaking metaphorically at all, one or the other. There very much is a literal component here. How do we know this? Well, because Jesus literally did these things for people in his ministry, to proclaim freedom for the prisoners and recovery of sight for the blind, to set the oppressed free, and to proclaim the year of the Lord's favor. The King. The King making others his mission. This is the example that Jesus gave us. This is further from being Christian nationalism than anything that you could imagine. Because I don't think that people read the Bible, or they read into the Bible rather than being read by the Bible. Christianity, at least a Christianity that is a follower of the way of Jesus, should continue to create communities where everyone can experience God's abundant life, with leaders who use their influence to lift up others rather than maintain their own power. By lifting up others, we're talking about the poor, we're talking about the oppressed, we're talking about those who are ill and in poverty. This is who Jesus' mission was. Those around him, the religious people around him, oftentimes were more about maintaining their power. than using their influence to help those who were in need. Jesus used every bit of influence, every bit of power that he had in order to help others who were in need. And he continually calls on anyone who would use his name or follow in his way to do the same thing. Do you? Do I? It's a tough question, but it's an important one. Speaking of questions, at the end of today's study and the study guide that's online, there are several questions, but this is one of them, and I'd love to hear your thoughts, your feedback on it in the comments or in the chat, wherever you're watching. How are you using your influence to create freedom and opportunity for others in a way like Jesus did? All of us, no matter who you are, no matter what your age is, no matter what your physical ability is, all of us have influence and have people who we have the ability to influence. So how are you using your influence? Are you using your influence in self-preservation ways? Are you using your influence in narcissist ways? Are you using your influence in order to get you ahead or to get your friends ahead? Or are you using your influence to create freedom for those who are captive to something? Are you using your influence to create opportunities for other people who, without you helping work that creative door open, without you, they wouldn't be able to have the opportunities? What are you doing? Let me know how you're using let me know how you're using your influence and power to create freedom and opportunity for others. It's been really good to be with you today, but it's also been really good to be with you through the entirety of this series. Lots of ups, lots of down, lots of fun as we've been looking at each of these chess pieces. Looking forward to the next study together here at Christ Table. So glad that you've been a part of this one. If you need anything, you can reach out to us right here anytime, www.christstable.today. Until next time,